things happened to women in ancient times. Men have long been considered a strong gender, and are also the ones who control the law, including many traditional customs in the country, most of whom are suppressing weak women until they move. And even today, women in most countries are still virtually deprived of their livelihoods, living in insecure conditions, and suffering from physical and mental violence, even if the world offers it. Women's rights are equal to men anyway. What you may not know is that, in fact, women have been abused and subjected to so many atrocities for decades that you would not expect it to be, since prehistoric and ancient times. The daughter must be killed. In ancient Athens, Rome, and for the Greeks, families who had daughters had to be killed or aborted, whether rich or poor, to produce sons because they were considered to be daughters born into a family burden. Even in ancient Egypt, even though the country gave equal rights to men and women, it was found that if a woman gave birth to a son, she could only raise and nurture her. 9. Women who come in the worst season. Ancient Roman philosophers said that if a woman had a menstrual cycle near a cow or milk, it would turn sour. Specifically, it is believed that menstruation is a predator that can kill all around. Even bees, if killed by menstruating women or looking away, the bees will die instantly. In Egypt, any woman who went through menstruation or during menstruation would be allowed to stay away from her, especially for men not to be touched or touched. Even in Israel, no one dares to touch menstruation, except for the touch or the place where women used to sit, because they see menstruation as the most dirty and filthy thing. The women touched and held the unclean thing. In Hawaii, any man who encounters or touches a woman who is menstruating in a secluded hut during the menstruation period will be punished severely, even to death. The Papua New Guinea people are even more convinced, believing that any man who touches a woman's menstrual cycle will have the power to absorb the man's blood. There is black, and the man is slowly dying. 8. All virginity before marriage must die. In Athens, if the father learns that his daughter lost her virginity before marriage, the father can sell his daughter as a slave. For the Samaritans, to make sure the bride is a virgin on the wedding day, the tribal leader will intervene into the bride's vagina in front of the masses to confirm that the bride is indeed a virgin. In Rome, the patriarchs of all Vesta deities, who were women, had to keep their virginity well. If they lose their purity before the age of 30, she will be fined. In ancient Israel, whether a pontiff or a normal woman, it was known that they had lost their premarital purity and had been stoned to death. 7. Women are sex slaves. In Rome, all the slaves, besides doing their hard work, and the women even served as male sex slaves. There is only one law that states that if she were a slave, and she would be the only sex slave to the master, no one else could touch her. Even rape men are not allowed to file a complaint because it is only classified as stolen property or is considered voluntary on both sides. And the man who had already raped her was just holding a ceremony according to tradition and religion. 6. The bride is always abducted. In some parts of China, most brides were kidnapped until the 1940s. According to reports in Japan, kidnapping of brides occurred during 1959. Ireland had a problem kidnapping the bride too. Even the Bible tells the story of a man who killed a virgin for the sake of a virgin. The birth of Rome also resulted from the kidnapping. According to the legend of Rome, a man abducted a Sabine woman and made her a wife. Created this Rome. And the women even enjoyed being kidnapped, thinking she was living a life of great honor and dignity. 5. Women are forced to kill their own children. In the ancient Greek city of Sparta, an unborn baby could not be kept alive, and it happened in almost every country of the day. Rome also has laws governing the death of an unborn baby or birth defect. In Roman terms, if a child is born prematurely, the mother has a choice of two. First, the woman can hold her own baby to death, and the second has to abandon her own child, with many scary places to do bad things. All this on a beach in Israel. More than 100 bodies were found in the septic tank, possibly because of the effects of the laws. 4. Women were banned from speaking and migrating. In ancient Greece and Rome, women could not move out of the house without a male guard. And if there was a meeting or dinner, all the women were kept in the room not to join them, as women were considered to be disruptive to men's enjoyment. In Denmark, women who are stubborn, disobedient, or hostile will be punished with a shrews-fiddle, a violin-shaped instrument that handcuffs them. And the wrists are joined together, and they are brought to the streets to proclaim their guilt. In England, it is even more serious for a convicted woman to be caught wearing a mask called Scold's Bridle, with a sharp tooth in her mouth and a bell on the head, to announce the march. Let everyone know and threaten other women not to follow the example. 3. The adulteress will receive a severe punishment. In Roman, if a married woman commits adultery, and marries another man, the husband can immediately kill the wife without any penalty. Even the Puritans in the Bible have allowed the law to kill adulterers, with some men not only killing them, but also some evil and cruel torture. During the Middle Ages, even the most brutal torture tool was the breast ripper, for the most dreaded and painful breast implants. This torture not only punishes adulterers, but even those who miscarry. 2. The woman must kill herself with her husband. Until the 19th century, when the husband died, all Indian women had to die with their husbands by burning themselves. During the war, many women were also forced to commit suicide before their husbands died. Especially if the living country or village is under siege by the enemy, all the women in the village and the children must burn themselves. Before going to war, the husband would remove the ashes from the wife's grave and wipe them off. It is believed that this will give him and her strength to succeed. 1. Women have been moving away from villages since prehistoric times. Archaeologists have discovered that since ancient times, recording history in Africa, it has been found that men lived in one place and women in another, in separate places, and that men and women interacted only when they were only married as husband and wife. It is estimated that all women were abducted and forced to become wives of other tribes.